Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. I hope you're all having a lovely day today. Today we are about to do another HelloFresh recipe, and this time we're going to be making it Slim World friendly as much as possible with some adjustments. So the recipe itself is called Prince Harry's chicken pie with mushrooms and carrots. I'm not sure why it's called Prince Harry's pie. It is what it is. Some of you may like that, some of you may not, I understand. However, there aren't too many ingredients listed in this recipe, so it's just potatoes, onion, mushrooms, carrot, garlic, panko breadcrumbs, chicken stock paste and some creme fraiche as well. Now there are, as always, around 6 steps for this recipe, and what they advise is that per serving it would cost you 680 calories. Now, I obviously don't go by calorie amounts because we're following Slimmer World, who advise you don't need to count calories, but you do need to count the things that matter, things that are higher in fat or things that you may overeat, not in moderation. So we are going to be firstly slicing up some potato, and that will be our layered sort of potato that you can see on this photo here. I will show you a photo of, or a little bit of a video at the end of the video once everything's cooked, just so you can see the final product. They also advise you to chop up some onion, some carrot and mushrooms. Now we already have pre-sliced mushrooms for convenience. I actually really like these, they save me a lot of time in the morning when we're having mushroom and cheese and spinach omelettes for breakfast. And I also have a tin of sliced carrots in the cupboard as well, which I'm going to just use because I've got them and they probably won't get used otherwise. So I'd rather use these up today, so again it saves me from chopping up. And we have 1 onion which just needs to be sort of sliced thinly, so not too much chopping at all. We also have pre-diced chicken. It wasn't meant to be for this recipe, but again it does save us having to chop up chicken. We can just pop it straight into the pan. So really all you're going to do is chop up all of the veg, slice your potato, brown the chicken, and you're going to pop your potato slices into a boiling pan of water with a little bit of salt for about 15 minutes, or just under that really, just to make sure that it's cooked enough but not going to break apart, so you can use the potato slices as a layer for the top of the pie. You're going to brown your chicken, season it, and you're then going to add your, so it says transfer the chicken to a bowl and lay to the side. Add a drizzle of oil, where we will be using the Fry Light spray, to the pan with the onion and the carrot. Cook on medium heat and then stir in your mushrooms and add your garlic. So we have garlic granules to hand here. You can also add bacon lardons to this, apparently at the bottom as well. We honestly have never had the bacon lardons in this recipe and it has always been delicious. We've also had some really good reviews and feedback from people that have eaten it when we've had them over to our house, or whether we've been at someone else's house and made dinner for them. They have all loved it, so I would definitely recommend this recipe in advance. Pour in your water with your chicken stock paste, bring it to the boil, and then you're going to add in your creme fraiche at the end. Now the version that we have here is the Yo Valley organic, and I think it may be one of the very few, or the only one that I've seen in the shops, which is a 0% fat version, which is half a sin per label tablespoon. Now obviously I'm not sure how much I will be using at the moment until I make the sauce, because I kind of go by visual rather than weighing things out and measuring things in particular, but I will keep a track of how many spoonfuls we use so we can add up the sins for you guys at home. Then we're going to pop everything into the oven dish, layer it all up with our potato on top and a sprinkle of panko breadcrumbs, and pop it into the oven to bake. Now the panko breadcrumbs in here, the recipe suggests 25 grams for 2 people, which would be 1.25 sins per portion, and I know Slimmer World generally add up and round up the way, so it would probably work out around 1.5 sins per portion with the panko breadcrumbs, and then anything extra that we add into it in the way of the creme fraiche would also add in some sins as well. But this is a delicious pie, it's very luxurious, so I would highly recommend it. So I'm just going to get on now with doing some chopping up of the potatoes. We'll boil them and then we can add in everything else that we need to do to the frying pan. So enjoy, I shall show you what I'm going to get up to. Okay guys, so we have peeled and cut up our potatoes as the recipe suggests us to. I'm now going to pop them in some hot boiling water. There's a little bit of salt going to go in there in a minute as well, and we will cook these for about maybe 13-14 minutes, just so they are cooked enough but not too much, so that we don't get mash on the top of our pie and we end up with nice slices of potato. So I will get on with doing that just now, and I will also chop up our onion and add in our other bits and bobs as I go along. Okay, so we have sliced up our onion here, and we also have our tinned sliced carrots here as well, which we obviously don't need to chop up, which is great. So once I'm ready to use this, I will just open the tin, drain it, and then we'll add it into the vegetable mix. Now what I'm going to do just now is I've just weighed out 25 grams of panko breadcrumbs. So that is the breadcrumbs there. And I got these in Tesco's, so it's worth keeping an eye out for them if you do see them on your travels. That's what they look like. And what I'm going to do now is, the recipe calls for you to add some olive oil into the panko breadcrumbs with some salt and pepper to help it brown up in the oven, but I'm just going to use our Frylight, so there are no sins associated with using this oil. So I'll just give it a bit of a spray in there. Being quite generous really. And a bit of pepper and a bit of salt as well. So I'll just get a spoon and then we can mix all of that together. There we go, that's that finished. And now what we're going to do is pop our chicken into the pan and bring it up to a high heat so that the chicken goes nice and brown, and then we're going to add in all of our vegetables to a pan as well, and by then the meal should almost be coming together quite nicely. So I shall see you again in a minute. Okay guys, so we have cooked our chicken, it's all golden now. What we're going to do is take it off the heat, pop it into a bowl and leave it to the side. We're now going to put all of our vegetables into this pan and fry them together with some Frylight to soften them down. And that's the next step, so I will catch you once I've done that. Okay, so we have our onion, our mushrooms and our carrots in the pan with a little bit of garlic granules. We've also got a little bit of salt in there as well, and we've used our Frylight to help keep things not from sticking to the pan and also just sort of make everything cook down nicely as well. Our potatoes have now cooked, so the slices are cooked to perfection. So I'm going to take them off the heat now, drain them, and just keep them to the side until we're ready to use them in what will be probably maybe 5-10 minutes. So yeah, we're getting there, pretty close to the end result. All we need to do now is reduce the vegetables down here a little bit more. We'll add in our water, which I think is round about 100 mils. Yep, it is 100 mils. Obviously you need to judge that for yourself on how much vegetables you've got in there. I might add a little bit more in depending on how it looks. And we'll add in a vegetable stock cube. It does call for a chicken one. I don't actually have a chicken stock cube, but I think the vegetable one will really help pull out the flavours from the veg that we already have in here. And I have used the vegetable stock before and it was absolutely fine. So yeah, I'll get on with draining the potatoes. We'll let this cook down a little bit further and then I'll bring you back to see when we start making the sauce with the creme fraiche and the stock. So yeah, I hope you're enjoying the video so far. The kitchen smells delicious. It smells really nice in here, so I'm honestly very much looking forward to this meal. So yep, I'll bring you back in a minute. Okay, so we have our vegetables with our water and stock in there, so it's thickening up really nicely. I may need to add a little bit of water in at the end, but I'm hoping not too much, so I'm just going to pop the heat down just now. And I'm now going to add in our level tablespoons of creme fraiche. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now I'm going to just do 4 just now, just because it might be that I don't need any more than that. But the recipe does call for a creamy sauce. Now it depends on how creamy you want the sauce. That's obviously a personal preference if you're making this at home on Slimming World. Now, as I said before, the creme fraiche that I have is a 0% fat one, and it's half a sin per tablespoon. So at the moment, for myself and my husband, it's working out at 1 sin each. Now I think I'm probably going to add in another bit of the creme fraiche just to make it that little bit more creamy. So we've done 4. There's another one, and that takes us up to our 6. Yeah, I think that's enough. Just make sure that's all stirred through. That looks lovely. Looks really nice. Obviously you can add in as much creme fraiche to this as you want. If you're making it at home, you'd use the full fat version if you're doing the Hello Fresh version of the recipe, or you may want to be luxurious and use cream, but obviously in this occasion we are trying to make it as low fat as possible by using the 0% fat creme fraiche. So hopefully this will be helpful to some of you at home. And all I'm going to do now is bring this back up to the boil, pop the vegetable mix into our oven dish here, and then we'll layer it up with the potatoes, and I'll show you the finished result before it goes into the oven with the panko breadcrumbs and things on top that we've got lying over here, and then we'll show you at the end what it looks like. So I shall see you again in a minute. Okay everyone, so we have our chicken pie here. So it's all layered up with our chicken, our carrots, mushrooms and onion in there with some garlic granules. We've also got our vegetable stock in there as well with our creme fraiche. We have popped our potato slices on top and our panko breadcrumbs with a little bit of extra salt and pepper on top as well, and a little bit of fry light. We're going to pop this into the oven for about probably about 14-15 minutes. I'll just look at the instructions here on this. So actually saying it's 10 to 12 minutes. So yeah, it depends. Obviously our oven does take a wee bit longer at times, so again it's completely up to you at home how long you cook this for. You're just wanting it to be nice and golden on top, and your chicken etc will be cooked, well, should have been cooked beforehand thoroughly, so you don't need to worry about having any raw meat within your pie. Now all in all at the moment we are looking at 3 sins for half of this pie each, and the 3 sins are 1.5 sins for the creme fraiche and 1.5 sins for the panko breadcrumbs. So all in all, I think this is an excellent, you know, sin valued pie. There aren't many pies that you can get for less than probably 20 odd sins, I would think. This is not something that I make all of the time, but it is something that we do like, and it is worth the extra hassle and effort of making it. So I will pop it into the oven now, and I'll bring you guys back once it's finished, and we'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so we have the finished result fresh out of the oven. I actually popped it under the grill for the last 2 minutes of cooking just to make sure that the breadcrumbs were a little bit more toasted and golden on top. The oven does do a little bit of that, but whenever I do this I always feel I need to do a little bit of extra under the grill at the end. It may just be my oven, but it's worth, you know, working that out for yourselves at home if you feel it's a little bit more pale than you would normally like to have. So all in all, I'll just pick this up so you can see a little bit more clearly. Hope you can. So that is what it looks like. So I'm really happy with this. It's turned out looking really good as always. The flavours in there are excellent, and again, speed foods in there for your garlic, your mushroom, your onion and your carrot as well. And actually preferred using the chopped up tinned carrots this time round because it saved me a lot of time and a lot of effort scraping them and cutting them all up into bits and making sure that they're cooked as well, because sometimes I feel carrots can take a bit longer to soften up than other vegetables. But yeah, it was really quick just to add in the sliced mushrooms, the sliced carrots, and then obviously just cut up our potato and our onion. So what I'll do is I will portion up this onto a plate and I will show you and do a bit of a taste test in a wee second. Hey guys, we have our finished product here. This is our chicken pie. Really looks very good. It's turned out good as well. On the top there's a nice crisp sort of panko breadcrumb coating on there, and I've tried to serve it up as best as I can on the plate because obviously the potato slices are on the top and then we've got the sort of sauce with the chicken etc underneath, so I've tried to make it look as good as I can. Obviously when you guys are serving this up at home, it's just be mindful that sometimes when you do take a sort of slice of it out, it does sort of crumble the potato and things, so but the taste is great. So what I'll do is I'll have a bit of this chicken here and I'll let you know how good it is. Just as good as I remembered from the last time. So I've also got some carrot here, obviously as I mentioned they're the tin carrots, and I'm going to just try one just so I know if there's still a little bit of bite to the carrot or not. It's holding its shape pretty well on the fork, it didn't break up or anything, so I'm hoping that that will be fine. Perfect. So yeah, I think the tin carrots, if you're wanting to save yourself some time and some extra work, I would definitely use the tin carrots again. It was a lifesaver and I'm thankful that I had them in the cupboard. I do have normal carrots, fresh carrots in the fridge, but when I remembered I had them and I thought, will I give it a shot? So I'm glad I did. And the sliced mushrooms as well is a massive time saver, and they're pretty convenient. We got ours in Tesco for £1 for a bag, which is, for me personally, a really good deal. I know you pay a premium for pre-sliced etc things, but you know, you've got to weigh it up whether it's worth paying a little bit of extra money for your saving time, you know. So this is the potato here, so I'm going to have a little bit of that. Lovely. obviously there's not lots of panko breadcrumbs on the pie itself. If you were making this at home and you weren't wanting to make it low calorie or low sin like we were today, then obviously you would probably add your olive oil to the panko breadcrumbs. Again, you can use your sins to do that, but for me personally, I don't want to waste my sins on oil when I could go and have a nice lolly or an ice cream later on tonight. So thank you so much for watching. I hope this has been a helpful and a nice video for you guys to see. I'm off to enjoy my dinner and I hope you have enjoyed this video. So as always, thank you so much for watching, for the support and the encouragement. As always, it is so much appreciated. It really does mean a lot. Thank you, and I shall catch you on the next one. Bye!